This is Henos Sport, bringing you that heat and that far. We keeping a foot on the what on the Knicks. We keeping a foot on the what on Knicks, and like the Tibetan mass shift that I am, I'm applying what unlimited pressure. Cause pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Let's talk about it, man. the Chihuahua walking behind the damn fence. Terence Crawford had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. But he had to fight Shawn Porter, man, because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Listen, man. Manny Pacquiao basically played the Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. Like the dumbass fluke that he is, man. I can't stop laughing. It just shows you that Terence Crawford is a barking behind the damn fence. When I laugh and I start crying laughing, it shows you, though, that this dude's nothing but a barking behind the damn fence, though. Listen, man. You gotta prove your welterweight legitimacy. You gotta prove your supremacy. You gotta prove that you are bringing something to Spence versus Crawford. When you have a super fight of epic proportions and epic magnitudes, the reason why it's a super fight is because two fighters bring something of super fight proportion to the table. But if they're not doing that, and one of them is not doing that, then we have a fucking problem. Houston, we have a fucking problem. Earl the True Spence in the confrontation, and you see a lot of Henos Sport duplicators are now saying the shit that Henos Sport been said. Henos Sport said this shit so many fucking years ago, man. And what people gotta understand, and what's understood don't need to be explained, is as simple as this: that Terence Crawford is nothing but a Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. You gotta fight Shawn Porter, man. You gotta get hurt. You gotta get cut. We got to see what you all about, man. We got to see if pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Shawn Porter has an ineffective aggression style. If you get past that and you beat him emphatically, you beat him solidly, you beat him without fail, without question, then we give you credit for that shit. But if you don't do that, man, then we know what your truest and your most properest levels is at. I don't believe that Terence Crawford leaves that fight unmangled. I don't believe he leaves that fight unhurt. I don't believe he leaves that fight uncut. And we know Shawn Porter throws headbutts. Shawn Porter don't play like everybody else plays. He's a phone booth fighter. So your ass is going to have to be in the trenches. The reason why you need this fight is because we need to know if you even prepared for the onslaught of tactical aggression, technical punching placement, body snatching work, the levying onslaught, the punishment style. We don't believe that Terence Crawford is ready for that. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Dog, you ain't got nowhere to run, you ain't got nowhere to hide, and you got to accept the fact that Henos Sport is Nostradamus, that Henos Sport is the prediction king fashion artist, that when Henos Sport says something, it is law all across the board because he's a global iconizer. He's a trendsetter and he's a standard bearer, man. We've been saying this shit months in and months out, years in and years out, that he has to fight Shawn Porter. He has to fight a credible opponent. He has to fight somebody that's going to push him and test him and bring him to the fire. Shawn Porter makes more sense because he's in his prime welterweight. He's younger than you. You are 34. He's 33, man. How you gonna fight a AARP retirement Pac-Man style? How you gonna fight a guy that's damn near 43 years old? Manny Pacquiao, I'm glad you did that shit, man. Salute to you for playing this Negro that's missing a fucking few screws, like he is like Tweedledee or Tweedle fucking dumb, or he's like Dumb and fucking Dumber, or he's like the Three fucking Stooges. We don't know if he's Larry, Curly, or fucking Moe. We just don't get it. I don't know if it's an Omaha, Nebraskan thing, but the bottom line is as simple as this. And what is understood don't need to be explained. That Terence Crawford tried to be slick, but Henos Sport is slicker. Boxing fans are slicker because they listen to what Henos Sport said. Boxing fans understand now that this guy right here, he didn't want, if you want smoke, it's free, but you can't smoke for free. If you want smoke, it's free, but you can't smoke for free. If you want smoke, it's free, but you can't smoke for free. If you want smoke, it's free, but you can't smoke for free. He didn't want that free smoke because he knew that that free smoke, it was free, but it was going to charge and tax his ass in the boxing ring. And it was going to age him. Shawn Porter's a fighter that the triangle theory works because everybody has to fight a hard fight with that motherfucker. Everybody got to go tooth and nail with that motherfucker. Everybody got to go in the phone booth. Even Mr. Tactical Aggression, Mr. Technical Punch Placement, and Mr. Body Snatching worked the Levy Onslaught, the punishment style. And Earl, the True Spence, had a phone booth fight. He made him bend the proverbial fucking knee in the 11th round. He showed the difference of his true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economic ways, but he still had to go tooth and nail with that motherfucker. And if Spence, who's built too big, too durable, and too core tough, had to do it, then I don't believe Terence Crawford that got dropped by Mean Machine in 3 fucking rounds when Big Mac, Bo Fat, Bo, I don't know however you want to say it, the guy just needs to lose fucking weight. When he sat there and said that Mean Machine would be dropped in 3 rounds, it was the opposite. Andre Ward called you out on that bullshit and fuck shit. And after that fight, he said, I don't know about Spence versus Crawford, because he realized, oh shit, Terence Crawford don't do well under pressure. Because there's 2 things with pressure. Either it's best friends with you, or pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Shawn Porter's a pressure-filled fighter. He will expose Terence Crawford. He will do things to Terence Crawford that Terence Crawford's never experienced in a boxing ring. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth teller fashion. So Terence Crawford, enough with the chihuahua barking behind that damn fence. Time to step up to the plate. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. You better step up, bruh. Because it's show up, show out. Step up or step to the fucking side. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth teller fashion. I keeps the foot on the whoop on the Knicks. I keeps the foot on the whoop on the Knicks. This is Hino's Sport. Check it out.